Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into No Such Time to Maine. Before I started this, I had something happen. I'm gonna have to find another form of social media to use. Cause Reddit's just not a place for everybody. Actually, like, I've been kicked off of Reddit multiple times, all because there's a person on Reddit that just has a really weird problem with me. Every time I follow this certain YouTuber, he has like this issue, and he gets people in trouble intentionally. If he doesn't like them, he'll do some weird stuff. He'll like act homosexual to you, and then because you say stuff he doesn't like to you, he'll get you banned. That's just the way he plays his cards, And it's very uncalled for. It makes the content creator, like, it doesn't make the content creator look bad. It's just like, why did you let this guy become in charge of this whole Reddit page? So I'm gonna try work on finding another form of social media out there, like Sky Blue or something, and just you know, Twitter's not bad. It's Reddit that was the more horrible page. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, and those are the only two I'm on right now. And like I was just on Reddit, and I got booted off of there because apparently I was ban evading, even though I was just minding my own business. I said one comment today, and then one comment they just had a problem with it. And the guy kept banning me. He keeps banning me. It's like, so people go to him and deliberately tell him to ban me. And it's so extreme. It's over the top and it's extreme. And it's like hatred towards a person that is literally not even doing anything that bad. And this is how I know. This is how I always know that I have Jesus Christ walking with me. Because if I didn't have Jesus Christ walking with me, I would not be getting banned like this. I would not have problems like this. These are stories you hear of people in the Bible having problems, you know? And the thing that really, really pushes my buttons is, today of all days, I said something, I kind of raged at somebody today because a political YouTuber is trying to join into the gaming YouTube. And that's what the problem is. He's pushing politics into the video game side of things, and we're all just having a problem with it because it's causing a whole mixed pot of people arguing amongst each other. And so that's why somebody like me, we just choose to cut it in half and stay away from the politics side of things. You know, when I used to, we need the Lord to bring his sword to cut political and gaming down the center so they can separate each other. We need the Lord to bring his sword upon the YouTube spectrum of things and then cut the political YouTubers out. Keep them away from the gamers and let the gamers do their thing, because the gamers aren't bothering anybody naturally. It's the people who are involved with politics and news that are bringing all this drama to the table, while the gamers are sitting there minding their own business, and we end up in this like mixed bag of drama because people are bringing it to us because we don't like something that they don't like. And so people like me reading the Bible, I'm watching it right now as it all plays out, but there's a huge war between the two spectrums, and it's just crazy. It's crazy how political YouTube, it digs itself in everything. It digs its claws in everything. And I found out something today. I'm not gonna specify through who, but I found out why I may not be able to get Melanie Mack onto a stream with me, and it's because she may have a contract through a company that isn't allowing her to associate with somebody like me. She notices I'm there. I know for a fact she notices I'm there. But the contract she probably signed is why she can't stream with somebody like me. Why she can't keep in contact. Why she can't contact somebody like me. If she wasn't a part of this contract, she would probably be associating with Miss Click, everybody from Spawncast, because they're a contractless free entertainment on YouTube. They might be ran by a company paying them, yes, but it's specifically not really contracted. These people on Geeks and Gamers and stuff like that, I'm trying to bring names up as examples, but they're ran by a contract that only wants you to talk about pop culture related stuff. So if you're not talking about pop culture related stuff in that sphere of stuff that they like, then you're not allowed to talk about anything outside that spectrum. And I learned that today. I was like, oh wow, that's rough. So I'm gonna say a prayer here at the very end I pray that somehow Melanie Mack, I'm gonna say this, but I hope Melanie Mack messes up somewhere so she can break free of that contract, because she can go off and start a show with anybody anybody on the internet right now if she wanted to, outside of the group she's with, and make it big. There's people that would literally sit there and watch her stream with Spawncast. Spawncast gets a lot more people watching it than they probably do at Geeks and Gamers. I can clarify that because I watch Spawncast and over 1,000 people are watching that show every week. Sometimes 2K, sometimes 3K. And I'm just specifying this, but I think she needs to break off whatever contract she's with and find a new source of people to go with. Find some real gamers and get out of this dungeon she's stuck in. And I'm going to pray for that. I'm going to pray that the Lord bring that sword upon the people with that contract and break that contract. Alright, so let's get down to business. We're starting on Job today. Job is very good. Job is a story about a guy who ends up in a bad spot. And he sits there and he tries to praise the Lord. But there's a whole bunch of people around him talking not down about him, but his situation. And he remains to talk strongly about the Lord throughout the whole situation. So you're going to see what I mean as I read this whole story. Because this whole story is actually really, it taught me a lot about handling my own situation. Now, I do every now and then, I get off track and I handle a situation out of context, and that's something that I'm still working on. I'm not perfect, but, you know, I do have PTSD from situations I've been in. So that's partly why I sit down and read the Bible every day, so I can help my own symptoms, along with maybe helping people out there understand why we need Jesus Christ and the Lord. So, alright, Job, I don't know which it is, but chapter 1, prologue. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was, I say Job. Job, this man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. So think about that. Yoked means to make as equal, okay? Yoke means he owned, let's just see, 500 yoked oxen. So he technically owned 1,000 oxen. And 500 donkeys. So he technically owned 1,000 donkeys. All right, that's what yoked means. Yoked is to, when you work with animals, when they were pulling like equipment, they would be equally yoked, which means they were equally as strong and equally as the same height as each other, so that it wasn't throwing anything off. And that's what the word yoked means. I learned that actually recently. All right. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking perhaps my children have sinned, and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied, Have you put on a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of the hands, so that his flock and herds are spread throughout the land. Now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said, Satan, very well. The Lord said to Satan, very well, then everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself, do not lay a finger. Okay? So this is where the Lord's going to start testing Job. That's why he's sending his son Satan to do that. It's because he wants to test Job and see how strong he is with praising God, and how he feels when he's in the middle of things, how like he would handle things. That's why he's doing this. Okay. Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day Job's son and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house. A messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabine attacked and made off with them. They put the servant to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep, and the servants and I, the only one, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on the earth camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to you. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and your daughters are feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house. When suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they were dead. And I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Chapter 2. On another day, the angel came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil, and he still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason. Skin for skin, Satan replied. A man will give all he has for his own life. But now, stretch your hand out and strike his flesh and bone, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very well then, he is in your hands, but you must spare his life. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores, from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it and sat down among the ashes. His wife said to him, are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die. He replied, Are you talking like a foolish woman? Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. When Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz and Temanite, Bildad and Shoite, and Zophar the Nemathite, heard about all the troubles that had come upon him, they set out from their homes and met together by agreement. Go and sympathize with him and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him because they saw how great his suffering was. So again, we see Satan return back to Job's life. He did one thing already, and then in chapter 2 he did a second thing that was much worse to Job. Job's in pain right now, but Job still didn't sin by any means. He didn't even curse the Lord. Who was it? His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die," he replied. So he did say that, but he didn't sin. All right, because he turned around, and it sounded like, it's from the sounds of it, it sounded like he how do I want to say this? He refrained himself from going too deep there. I think is what it was, and that's why he didn't sin. Now, if I was in his situation, I literally handle my situations a lot differently. All right. I literally, when I get mad, I usually end up praising to the Lord. I don't really specify that online, but that's why you see me post things sometimes. It's me just praising the Lord. That's why that page, Daniel versus Babylon, I love that page, because that man seems like he could get bad at anything, and he'll still turn around and post about the Lord on the internet. And I turned around and said something, and after I said it, I saw something pop up again about the rapture. I'm like, man, Lord's talking to me. Lord's talking crazy to me, but hey, he's talking to me. So, all right. We're going to go into chapter 3. Job speaks. Chapter 3. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. He said, "May the day of my birth perish, and a night that said, a boy is conceived. That day may turn into darkness. May God above not care about it. Excuse me. May no light shine on it. May gloom and utter darkness claim it once more. May a cloud settle over it. May blackness overwhelm it that night. May thick darkness seize it. May it not be included among the days of the year, nor be entered in any other month. May that night be barren. May no shout of joy be heard in it. May those who curse days curse that day. Those who are ready to rouse the Leviathan, may its morning star become dark. May it wait for the daylight in vain, and not see the first rays of dawn. For it did not shut the door of the womb on me, to hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not perish at birth, and die as I came from the womb? Why were there knees to receive me, and breasts that I might be nursed? For now I would be laying face down in peace. I would be asleep and at rest. The kings and rulers of earth, who built themselves places now lying in ruin, with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or why was I hidden away in the ground like a stillborn, like an infant who never saw the light of day? There the wicked ceases from turmoil, and there the weary are at rest. Captives also enjoy their ease. They no longer hear the slave drivers shout. The small and great are there, and the slaves are freed from their owners. Why is the light given to those in misery, and life to the bitter of souls? To those who long for death, that does not come, who search who search for it more than a more than for hidden treasure, who are filled with gladness and rejoice when they reach the grave. Why is a life given to a man whose way is hidden, whom God has hedged in for sign, who God has hedged in? For sighing has become my daily food. My groans pour out like water. What I feared has come upon me. What I dread has happened to me. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest, but only turmoil. All right, so Eliphaz, this is him speaking now, chapter 4. Then Eliphaz, the uh, Temanite, replied, if someone ventures a word with you, will you be impatient? But how can, but who can keep from speaking? Think how you have instructed many, how you have strengthened feeble hands. Your sword, your words have supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened flattering knees, but now trouble comes to you and are discouraged. It strikes you, and you are dismayed. Should not your pity be your confidence, and your blameless ways your hope? Consider now how being innocent has ever perished. Where were the upright ever? Destroyed. I have observed those who plow evil, and those who sow trouble reap it. At the breath of God they perish. At the blast of his anger they are no more. The lions may roar and growl, yet the teeth of the great lions are broken. The lion perish for lack of prey, and the cub of the lioness are scattered. A word has secretly brought to me, my ears caught a whisper of it, a disquieting dream in the night, when deep sleep falls on people. Fear trembling seized me, and made all my bones shake. A spirit glided past my face, and their hair on my body stood on end to stop it. It stopped, but I could not tell what it was. From a form stood before my eyes, and I heard a hushed voice. Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can even a strong man be more pure than his Maker? If God places no trust in his servant, if he charges his angels with error, how much more those who lived in a house of clay, whose foundation are in dust now, or whose foundations in the dust, who are crushed more readily than a moth. Between dawn and dusk they are broken to pieces, unnoticed, they perish forever. They are not the cords, they are not the cords of their tents pulled, so that they die without wisdom. Chapter 5. So let me see what time it is. I feel like I'm going through this like a breeze. Yeah, I'm gonna probably read all the way to 7 actually, or 8. So we'll do 5, 6, and we'll do through 7. Okay, so let me go back and edit everything. 5, 6, and 7. Check. Let me fix this here. All right. So, come on. All right. One more time. There we go. 8. All right. So we're back. All right. So let's keep going. All right. Let me put my screen up here now. All right. So chapter 5. Call if you will, but who will answer you? To which of the holy ones will you turn? Resentment kills a fool, and envy slays the simple. I myself have seen a fool taking root but suddenly his house was crushed. His children are far from safety, crushed in the court without a defender. The hungry consume his harvest, taking it even from among thorns, and the thirsty pant after his wealth. For hardship does not spring from the soil, nor does the trouble sprout from the ground. Yet man is born to trouble, as surely as sparks fly upward. But if you were, I would appeal to God. I would lay my cause before him. He performs wonder that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. He provides rain for the earth. He sends water on the countryside. The lowly he set on high, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He thwarts the plan of the crafty, so that their hands achieve no success. He catches the wise in their craftiness, and schemes of the wily are swept away. Darkness comes upon them in daytime, at noon they grope as in the night. He saves the needy from the sword in their mouth. He saves them from the clutches of the powerful. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts its mouth. I like that. That's a very, very well done quote. I love how powerful the Lord can be when you see him in action. So, blessed is the one whom God corrects. So do not despise and discipline of the Almighty. For he wounds, but he also binds up. He injures, but his hands also heal. From 6 calamities he will rescue you. In 7 no harm will touch you. In famine he will deliver you from death. In battle, from the stroke of a sword, you will be protected from the slash of a tongue, and need not fear when destruction comes. You will laugh at destruction and famine, and need to fear the wild animals. And need not fear the wild animals. You will have covenant with stone of the field, and wild animals be at peace with you. You will know that your tent is secure. You will take stock on your property, and you will find nothing missing. You will know that your children will be many, and your descendants like the grass of the earth. You will become the grave in full vigor, like shaves together in season. We have examined this, and it is true, so hear it and apply it to yourself. And this is Job speaking back. So Job, chapter 6. Then Job replied, if only my anguish could be weighed, and all my misery be placed on scale, it would surely outweigh the sand of the seas. No wonder my words have been impetuous. Sorry. The arrow of the Almighty are in. My spirits drink in their poison. God terrors are marshaled against me. Does a wild donkey bray when it has grass, or an ox bellow when it has fodder? Is tasteless food eaten without salt, or is there flavor in the sap of the mallow? I refuse to touch it. Such food makes me ill. Oh, that I might have my request, that God would grant what I hope for, that God would be willing to crush me, to let loose his hands and cut off my life. Then I would still have this consolation, my joy, and unrelenting pain, that I had not denied the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have, that I should still hope? What prospect that I should be patient? Do I have strength of stone? Is my flesh bronze? Do I have my power to help myself? Now that my success has driven from me. Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as undependable as intermittent streams, as the streams that overflow when in darkness by thawing ice and swollen with melting snow. But that stop flowing in dry season, and in the heat vanish from their channels. Caravans turn aside from their routed, they go off into the wasteland and perish. The caravans of Tamah look for water. The traveling merchants of Sheba look in hope. They are distressed because they had been confident. They arrive there only to be disappointed. Now you have to provide. You have hold on. Let me reread that. Now you too have proved to be no help. You see something dreadful and are afraid. I have ever seen. I have ever said something on my behalf. Give something on my behalf. Pay a ransom for me, for my wealth, for your wealth. Deliver me from the hands of the enemy. Rescue me from the clutches of the ruthless. Teach me, and I will be quiet. Show me where I have been wrong. How painful are my honest words, but what do your arguments prove? Do you mean to correct what I say, and treat my desperate words as wind? You would even cast lots for the fatherless, and barter away your friends. But now, be so kind as to look at me. Would I lie to your face? Relent. Do not be unjust. Reconsider my integrity, it is at stake. Is there any wickedness on my lips? Can my mouth not discern malice? Alright, so we're on chapter 7. We're still on Job talking. Now, as you can see, Job is sitting there and he's trying to fight back against his feelings right now, which is like he's in pain and people just keep putting him down. And he's really trying to say, hey, you know what? Let me just deal with this myself. I'm in a lot of pain. You don't understand that. And that's what Job is trying to say here. He's trying to be like, hey man, I'm in a lot of pain. You don't know what I'm going through right now. I wish you understood. My house broke down the day before this, and now I'm dealing with a bunch of pain. And these guys don't understand that because they're not in pain. And that's why Job is in the spot he's in, where he's having trouble, but at the same time, he's trying to remain. He's trying to remain in his way, but he's also coming down upon himself at the same time. And it's just this is how things go when it comes down to it. And this taught me a lot about when I'm in bad situations, it's best to praise the Lord no matter what, even if it is your worst day possible. Like, there's still stuff going on in the house here that I'm not very happy with, but I'm dealing with it myself. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff in my life. And stuff I don't really talk about outside of here. But hey, I'm holding it together somehow, right? So, get up. All right. Chapter 7. Do not mortals have hard service on earth? Are not their days like those of hired laborers? Like a slave longing for the evening shadows? Or a hired laborer waiting to be paid? So I have been allotted months of futility, and nights of misery have been assigned to me. When I lie down, I think, how long before I get up? The night drags on, and I toss and turn until dawn. My body is clothed with worms and scabs. My skin is broken and festering. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and they came to an end without hope. Remember, O God, that my life is but a breath. My eyes will never see happiness again. The eye that now sees me will see me no longer. You will look for me, but I will be no more. As a cloud vanishes and is gone, so one who goes down to the grave does not return. He will never come to the house again. His place will know him no more. Therefore, I will keep silent. I will not keep silent. I will speak out in anguish of my spirit. I will complain in bitterness of my soul. I am the sea, or the monster of the deep, that you put me under guard. When I think my bed will comfort me, and my couch will ease my complaint, even then you frighten me with dreams, and terrify me with visions, so that I prefer strangling and death, rather than his body of mine. I despise my life. I would not live forever. Let me alone. My days have no meaning. What is mankind that you may what is mankind that you make so much of them? That you give them so much attention? That you examine them every morning and test them every moment? You will never look away from me or let me alone, even for an instant. If I have sinned, what have I done to you? You who see everything we do, why have you made me your target? I have become a burden to you. Why do you not pardon my offenses and forgive my sins? For I will soon lie down in the dust. You will search for me, but I will be no more. Bildad. So, we're on chapter 8 right now. Let me see how much time I have now. These chapters are very, very short. In fact, I'm probably going to go 2 more. Yeah, chapter 9 is the longest. Let's do 8 and 9 again. Alright, so, update. Alright, 7, 8, 8, and 9. I actually like reading these because these are a little bit more open compared to what I previously read. The ones that are previously read, they are more like enclosed forms of writing and typing and all that. That's why I'm kind of breezing through this because it's just a lot. It's actually pretty easy to read. All right, so let me get back to my screen here. So we're doing, let me see, 8 and 9. Yeah, okay, so. Alright, so we're doing 8 and 9. Bildad. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, How long will you say such things? Your words are blustering wind. Does God prevent justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right? When your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the plenty of their sins. But if you will seek God earnestly, and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure and upright, even now he will rouse himself on your behalf, and restore you to your preposterous state. Your beginnings will seem humble, so preposterous will your future be. Ask the former generation and find out what their ancestors learned. We were born only yesterday and know nothing. And our days on earth are but shadow. Will they not instruct you and tell you? Will they not bring forth words from their understanding? Can papyrus grow where there is no marsh? Can reeds thrive without water? While still growing and uncut, they wither more quickly than grass. Such is the destiny of all who forget God. So perish the hope of the godless. What they trust in is fragile. What they rely on is a spider's web. They lean on web, but it gives way. They cling to it, but it does not hold. They are like well-watered plants in the sunshine, spreading its shot over the garden. It entwines its roots around a pile of rocks, and looks for a place among the stones. But when it is torn from its spot, that place disowns it and says, I never saw you. Surely its life withers away, and from the soil other plants grow. Surely God does not reject one who is blameless, or strengthen the hands of evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter, and your lips with shouts of joy. Your enemies will be clothed in shame, and the tents of wicked will be no more. So we're back to Job again. Um, it's hot. It's just this. I don't have an AC, and the window can't be open right now because it's raining outside. So I'm just sitting here, kind of sweating right now. In the summer, it's gonna get worse. So I hope at some point I move into a better place where I have AC and stuff like that, and I can afford something. So that's something I want to pray for here at the end. I pray for that. I don't pray for that much on my free time. But that's something I do want to do. Is I want to move out of this place at some point. I want to move into something a lot better than this, a lot bigger, because I just feel like I deserve it. So, all right, chapter 9. Job. Then Job replied, "Indeed, I know this is true, but how can mere mortals prove they're innocent before God? Though they wish to dispute with him, they could not answer him one time out of 1,000. His wisdom is profound, his power is vast. Who has resisted him and come out unscathed? He moves mountains without their knowing it, and overturns them in his anger. He shakes the earth from its place and makes its pillars tremble. He speaks to the sun, and it does not shine. He seals off light of the stars. He alone stretches out of the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. He is the maker of the bear and Orion, and Orion, the Pleiades, I don't know, and the constellations of the south. He performs wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. When he passes me, I cannot see him. When he goes by, I cannot perceive him. If he snatches away, who can stop him? Who can say to him, what are you doing? God does not restrain his anger. Even the cohorts and Rahabs cowered at his feet. How can I dispute with him? How can I find words to argue with him? Though I were innocent, I could not answer him. I could only plead with my judge for mercy. If even if I summoned him and he responded, I do not believe he would give me a hearing. He would crush me with a storm and multiply my words for no reason. He would let me catch my breath, but would overwhelm me with misery. If it is a matter of strength, he is mighty. If it is a matter of justice, who can challenge him? Even if I were innocent, my mouth would condemn me. If I were blameless, I would pronounce me guilty. Although I am blameless, I have concern for myself. I despise my own life. It is all the same. That is why I say he destroyed both the blameless and the wicked. When a scourge brings death, he mocks and despairs of the innocent. When a land falls into the hands of the wicked, he blindfolds its judges. If it is not he, who is it? My days are swifter than a runner. They fly away without a glimpse of joy. They skim past boats and papyrus like eagles swooping down on their prey. If I say I will forget my complaints, I will change my expression and smile. I still dread all my suffering, for I know you will not hold me innocent. Since I am already found guilty, why should I struggle in vain? Even if I washed myself with soap and my hands with cleansing powder, you would plunge me into a slime pit, so that even my clothes would detest me. He is not a mere mortal like me, that I might have that I might answer him, that might confront each other in court. If only there were someone to mediate between us, someone to bring us together, someone to remove God's rod from me, so that his terror would frighten me no more. Then I would speak up without fear of him. But it is not, but as it now stands with me, I cannot. So we're on chapter 10, and Job is still speaking. So I'm done there for the day. Chapter 10. How many more chapters do we got to this? Because this is like, I feel like we're moving really fast here. Oh, yeah, we're going to move through this pretty fast. Because Psalms is... So, we might be done this within the next couple of days. We'll be done with it. Maybe 3 days. Because if I keep reading through, which I started and I finished at 10. So, if we read 10 chapters a day, we'll be done with this in 4 days. But if I read more than 10 chapters a day, let's just say I have 2 sessions where I read 10 chapters, okay? So we'll be done with this in a couple of days. I know that. But if I have 3 morning sessions of reading this, I'll have this done in 3 days. 3 to 4 days actually. Well, 4 more like it, because we have 44 chapters, okay? And then we'll be in Psalms. And then I will have surpassed the person that read the Bible and I was listening to, which is incredible. I'm literally almost past them, and I'm pretty much all caught up to myself. Like, literally, this is crazy. And I will be there. I want to say within the next 2 weeks, I'll be caught up to myself where I am, and that is in Isaiah. Now, will I finish Isaiah? More than likely, I'll probably finish out Isaiah before I even reach Isaiah. If I haven't been reading before I go to bed because I get off here and I go directly to sleep. I get off of here and I do a short before I go to sleep, or if it depends, I get home, depends on how that falls. But it's just crazy how fast I'm reading through this thing. All right. And I'm literally almost at the halfway point too, reading with you guys. So, all right, it's hot right now. As you can see, my hair, probably gonna take a shower here soon because of how hot it is. I don't. The thing is, if I take a shower, I'm gonna be soaking wet, even from the sweat, and that's why I hope it cools down here tonight, so that way I can sleep in peace. Because when it gets hot, I don't sleep as easily. So. Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. So, okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. So, earlier I said I've been trying to get Melanie Mack on this channel. Like I said, I can't get her on the channel. She's connected to a contract and bind that if she goes outside of her contract to bind with her people, she could probably get in some serious trouble. And my thing is I want to be able to communicate with her, and I think it's best for her. I think it's best for her. And this is something I've been watching her for a good over a year now. And she just looks miserable. She looks miserable with what her contract is telling her to do. That is, if she's binded to a contract. She looks miserable, and she looks like she's ready to escape her group. So I'm gonna say a prayer for that here soon. Because that woman, you can sit there and see her in the face. She doesn't enjoy some of the stuff she does. She wants freedom. She wants freedom, and the reason I know she wants freedom is because she's gonna do something here very, very soon. That kind of shows she wants freedom. She's gonna she was talking about starting a stream that is gonna be searching the internet, which is something I actually do. So I hope she enjoys that. I enjoy doing that, and I hope she finds peace in that one. It just kind of sucks. I probably won't be able to do anything. Maybe that will change, I felt and I've been feeling this thing. I got this feeling last night, okay? I was sitting in my bed, and I was just randomly browsing through Twitter. And the Lord spoke to me. And he basically gave me the feeling of, he spoke to me, but I didn't hear a voice. It was a feeling. It was more like a feeling. He put a feeling in me that I'm going to be in charge of something big in the near future. So, I don't know what it is, but I think it's starting to form together, and I think I'm gonna be a part of a group here soon that's gonna form over time. I just need to give it time to pan out, and maybe that's what the Lord's message was to me. Because there's something I feel like something big is about to happen for me, and I don't know what it is. And like I said, I felt like a blessing was coming very soon. And again, I don't know what that blessing is. And I honestly do. I feel like I'm gonna be in charge of something huge. Like, and I don't know where that'll be, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure that I'll be able to lead people like Jesus led people. I'll be able to do it. I'm not incapable. I'm not incapable of handling something like that, especially because I know more than likely how certain things work. Now, being in charge of things does consider me to have a lot of stuff on my plate, but maybe in return, maybe it won't be as hard as I think it is. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just me leading and making suggestions to people. If I become the leader of something, I don't know. Again, I don't know what it would be, but I do feel like I'd be a great leader. I do feel like I would be a great leader. And I got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now that a lot of people are like, man, he got a lot of stuff going on, and maybe people are probably looking at that like I got that comic book going on that I put time into. I go to work and I do YouTube daily basis. My plate is always busy. And you know what? Half of it I'm not even getting paid for. I'm just basically doing everything for free. So it's a blessing that it's a blessing in disguise for me that's been working in my favor perfectly. Nobody has to pay for anything. I'm not expecting money out of it. But all I expect is a following. It's all I expect right now. And the thing is, like, the following is going to be for God, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to be for me. I'm just a face. I'm not, this whole channel was built for God. My Bible, my whole comic book is built for God. That's gonna be a story written about me under God. I'm just the face again. You're gonna this next chapter, okay, this next comic book chapter, you guys are gonna love it. There's gonna be something incredible happening in it, and trust me, it's gonna deal with the angel. You're gonna see more of Geothan in it, and you're gonna see something that Geothan does that you're like, wow, that's really really cool. And I was like, as I was drawing out the story, it just automatically came to me. And it was like, this is a great idea. But you're gonna see a lot of transformations in this. But I'm trying to keep the whole first part of the story with the first transformation. The transformation, I invented that. That doesn't actually happen to me, but that's something that is a power that like I feel like should be described in our Bible. Well, like this, like okay, so Jesus Christ would have if Jesus Christ had a power. I feel like that power I have, that's the power Jesus Christ would have. Jesus Christ would have this incredible power, and you would see because they describe in the book of Genesis that Jesus Christ had fire in his eyes, correct? That's why I put the pupil that way, because if you look at the way the eyes were, it looks like fire, correct? Just a small flame. And I didn't realize it, but it references back to the way the lamb, the second coming of Jesus Christ, was described. That's why I put that in there. And that power is gonna get more and more cooler looking. It's gonna have its critique. So you're gonna see it change here. After I finish the first part, the transformation is gonna change in the next one. It's gonna be like your average anime, but it's gonna be based around angelic Jesus Christ's holy power and stuff like that. So it's gonna be more like a reference back to how powerful our Bible is and stuff like that. And there's gonna be other stuff. So just wait for that. That's gonna be really cool. This next one, you guys are gonna love it. And the battle is gonna keep getting worse and worse because I got to do two more comics to that. It's gonna lead into a more like a more. You're gonna see a lot more things happen and a lot more. There's gonna be bigger and bigger. There's gonna be bigger and bigger enemies coming along the way because trust me, that's a reference back to the spiritual warfare that we're dealing with today. Spiritual warfare is one of the hardest things to fight, especially because it's hard to keep track of when you break yourself of it and when you don't. And some people don't have that instinct that some of us have. So it's not about that I actually see it, but I'd see when people are going through stuff. I pay attention to bodies. I'd pay attention to body language and all that. And you see how hurt people are. And when you see how hurt people are, if you played Ni no Kuni, that's where I got that idea from. Because in Ni no Kuni, his father got mad at one time. All right, I didn't play the whole thing, but I played some of it, and it has that whole effect that whole thing that I'm referencing here, but different format of it. And you saw his father get this like darkness around him, like a dark cloud. And that's kind of where I got that from. Now, mine leads into a deeper version of that, okay? That's why you see things in the eyes change and all that, because it's a reference of how it, for me, that's a reference of how it takes hold. It naturally isn't. It isn't like that. It's a lot of people would never be able to pick up on it, but I can walk around and look at a person and just get this. I don't know what it is, but for me, I have this thing where I can look at somebody and just feel like darkness coming off them. Like it's an invisible cloud of darkness that goes around them that I see in people. And I don't naturally talk about it, but it's a feeling. It's also a feeling. It's really hard to explain, but it's something I have within me that I can tell when people are like extremely hurt and they have something within them that's dwelling. And the only reason to get rid of it, the only way to get rid of it is using your spiritual powers, your prayers and stuff like that. So it is a very, very hard thing to pick up on. But once you got it down to a T, you start actually feeling it, and you start actually paying more and more attention to the spiritual warfare things, you start to actually pick up and see how things actually work. And you use the power of prayer to defeat those things. You use the power of Jesus Christ to defeat those things. When you say a prayer, the way I do it to destroy any form of negativity locked inside of somebody, which means there's a demon, a dark entity, a foul spirit, you ask Jesus Christ to send an angel their way to destroy that spirit. And every day I do that for somebody, and for myself, because I don't normally have people thinking about praying for me, unless you're watching the channel. You pray for me, yes, but I use the prayer of curse. So that's gonna pop up in the actual comic at some point, but it's not gonna be the full thing. It's gonna be a brief description of it. There's going to be a way I'm going to interpret all of this into the story I have, so just look out for that. But the Bible is going to be in it. There's going to be a couple things you'll witness that I do here that I will have in a comic book. The comic book is literally based a little bit around my life and how I handle things and how I see things. So I just hope you all like it. I mean, I like it so far, and I'm enjoying it. And all I can say is keep hanging in there. You're going to see a lot more cooler stuff coming away out of that for the way I do it. So, all right. Anyway, let's see what time it is. All right. So I'm going to say a prayer, and then we'll get out of here. I'm going to say a couple prayers for a couple people, and I hope they feel better, and I hope they get in a better position, and I hope that like people get their freedom here soon, because you know what? Lack of freedom can really, really hurt a person. It can make a person feel like really, really horrible and down in dumps about themselves. And it's best to fight for your freedom. It's best to fight for your freedom. And Jesus Christ is freedom. He's freedom from a lot of things. Takes the chains off of you of the earth. So, all right. Lord Jesus Christ, Heavenly Father, I pray to you tonight to if somebody had specified to me that Melanie Mac may be in a binding contract with some company, Lord, I need you to bring the sword upon that and cut Melanie Mac away from that contract and allow her to have freedom. Send your angels to destroy that demon, Lord. Send your angels to take her and send her in the direction of real gamers and people that aren't going to be pushing politics on her, Lord. Lord, we need you to help fight this battle, because we need her to get away. You can see it in her face. She doesn't feel good about what she does. She doesn't feel like uploading. And Lord, I think it's best that she gets put in a position. Lord, if you can, I pray you put her in a position where she can have her freedom to do what she wants. And Lord, put it in her that she's set free, that she can be set free, and that she can form her channel of her own. She can form a stream of her own. She don't need those people, Lord. She can do better by herself. She can do good on her own. And Lord, I want you to show her that. I want you to show her to put time into her craft, time into things she's doing, time into her gaming, time into speaking and associating more with gamers. Get herself back into gaming the way she was, and help separate her from the politics. Lord, bring the sword in between politics and gaming, and push politics away from gaming. Lord, break it down. Make sure these political YouTubers and political people are not interfering with the gaming community. Lord, I know you love us, and that's why I continue to pray to you, because you know I'm a gamer. Lord, I just need you to do that. Lord, also, I pray that the political side of YouTube gets a clue and they walk away from the gaming community, because they don't need to be involved in us. They're so busy trying to push their politics on us, and they want us to vote for whoever they want us to vote for, and it affects the fun. It affects the fun side of things. So Lord, separate it, Lord. I pray to you at this very point in time, you put a huge separation between gaming and political side of things. Separate both of them, and make sure the gaming people stay with the gaming people, and make sure the political community stays with the political community, so they can converse against each other, and so the gamers can converse against each other, and build a bond between only gamers and the political people. Only build bonds between political people. Lord, we need to stop this mix, because it's causing war. And Lord, bring the sword upon the war against politics and gaming, and slice it in half. Lord, also, I pray that you send angels to me, protecting me. I've had some incidences today where people ruined a profile of mine again. Lord, I need you to bring a sword upon them and make them understand why what they did is wrong. Lord, I'm like getting irritated with people ruining my profiles on social media, especially because I've been trying my hardest to promote you in your word, and Lord, people just ruin it. So if they ruin your word, Lord, bring the sword upon them. Lord, also, I pray that you bless my comic. Make people really, really go look at that thing, and make sure they enjoy the story of me writing a story about you, and how I met you, and how you brought me an angel, and how you showed me the way, Lord. And also, Lord, send angels to Melanie Mac, and send angels to Stan, and send angels to anyone in the video game community, Lord. We all need a misclick. People are going under her profile that are those political gamers. Lord, pull them away from her, and send angels to her, Lord. She's sick right now. Help heal her family. Send anybody else in the video game community angels, Lord, and bless them. In Jesus' name, amen. So, there you go. There you have it. I'm done for the day. Thank you all for watching. You will be blessed by the Lord. Just hang in there. And again, like I said, the Lord put it in me that something big's gonna happen to me. I don't know when that'll be, but I feel very, very soon things are about to change around, and the political community is gonna be separated from the gaming community. Watch. I have a very, very strong feeling about it, and there will be no more arguing and warring in a community. The only people warring in a community are people playing games. That's the only thing I want in a gaming community anymore. And I need gamers to come to gaming. I don't need politicians and people pushing politics into gaming. And I need people who read. The Lord loves gamers. The Lord loves us gamers. But he doesn't like so much that the political side of thing is. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like that, and that's why we end up seeing a lot of like negative stuff come from the political side of things. And I already said this. I'm gonna make that part of my comic too, where politics does trans people into believing that they're good people. Politics is a trans. Okay, trust me on this. So anyway, you'll see that in the future. Hang in there, and I'll be putting a short up soon. And later on tonight, I will be streaming. I'll be doing Facebook, chatting in Facebook Reels again tonight. When I feel good again and feel like gaming, I'll get back to gaming. But the next game, I want to try to beat Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But the DLC, but man, that thing is difficult. I might have to put some grinding into that when I come back. But very, very soon, trust me, I'm going to return. I'm already on the verge of, like, returning to it. I put up a post about my comic book today on my gaming YouTube channel. Things are going to change there. It's going to be No Such Time Gaming and Comics. So, alright. Take it easy, and God bless you, and I'll be seeing you next time. Take it easy.